At the start of the penultimate weekend of Singer Schools Rugby League 2018, we had two teams who could potentially win the title. At the end of that penultimate week, we had three teams that could win the title. Here on the breakdown. The penultimate weekend of Singer Schools Rugby 2018, an outstanding weekend of rugby as well, which has blown the league wide open. Three teams can still win this in the final weekend of the Singer League, and those teams will be St. Joseph's, St. Peter's, and of course the front runners Royal. So it looks like it's going to be a very closely contested affair, because all three teams going into these games in the final weekend look like they will try desperately to try and win the league. St. Peter's, of course, a very outside chance, but St. Joseph's and Royal, of course, with realistic chances. Royal, the only ones who have their own fate in their hands. So let's wait and see how that unfolds. But looking back at the weekend, we had a superb game between St. Joseph's and St. Peter's, an outstanding game of rugby, probably the best we've seen since we saw the Royal versus Wesley affair a couple of weeks ago, and a really closely contested game. We expected it to be low scoring. Why? Because the conditions were so bad before the game and also underfoot. We didn't expect both teams to be able to really break through and play running rugby. But St. Joseph's didn't seem to have got that memo early on in the game, and Tharindra Dialvis really outstanding, a fulcrum at the back of that pack for St. Joseph's, and he sent the ball in motion, Rashan Gunawardena allowing Tharindra Maduranga to score in the corner, and then Siobhan Gregory coming through onto a nice angled ball after St. Joseph's had been held up a little while earlier, and came through to score a try that put the matter put St. Joseph's into a 10-0 lead, and that was all they needed, because they played the 55 minutes of that game with one man down, a game-defining moment really when Tharindra Maduranga was sent off, correctly sent off, we must add. Anil Jasinghe, the TMO, reviewing the footage very carefully, and Akil Jamaldeen's referral also spot on. He told the referee exactly what he wanted to see, and it was a spear tackle and a deserved red card for Maduranga, who will be very relieved that it didn't cost his team. Kenneth Vimaladasa managed to get St. Peter's on the scoreboard in the first half. It was 10 points to 5, and then he made another break at the end of the first half. He managed to get through the Josephian defence. Damid, the first line of defence, went straight through Damid Gamunuchetia, who was starting at fullback in place of Dulanjana Pietissa, and he thought he had made it, but Gamunuchetia's turn and his turn of pace also was just too much. Managed to catch Vimaladasa, who was chugging along, and caught him about 3 or 4 meters short of the line and managed to knock the ball out of his hands. Vimaladasa making the cardinal error of not transferring the ball into the hand away from the would-be defender, and that would have been a game-changing moment. It would have really set the cat among the pigeons if St. Peter's scored at that moment, because they would have tried to hold on with an extra man as well. But St. Joseph seemed to have won this one tactically. They kicked to the right places for Keshan Kavinda to chase. They knew that St. Peter's were not good, their wingers were not good turning and going back. So Shehan Lianapathirana was moved like a pendulum from side to side, and that was very good attacking awareness from Samisha Viranga, who put a lot of those kicks into play as well. So St. Peter's just found wanting. They couldn't get the ball into the hands of the right players often enough, and that was a bit of a problem for them. It was quite one-dimensional when they went into the 22, and St. Joseph's knew what was coming and just had to keep repelling, and their discipline after the Maduranga incident was really quite good. So St. Peter's had it in their hands for them to win with an extra man for 55 minutes. You'd expect them to be able to make inroads, but just didn't manage to get the ball wide accurately enough, or to use their pick and go weapon, which they had been using so well. So both of their attacking weapons let them down, and a superb win in the end for St. Joseph's, retaining the Father Basil Veeratunga Shield, which they won last year as well, and trying to claw back that deficit. St. Peter's way ahead in the tally as far as the Basil Veeratunga Shield is concerned, but St. Joseph's will be trying to make some inroads into that as well. Next game that we had on the cards at Havelock Park, it was Ecbatana versus Royal. Once again, the conditions not ideal for the kind of rugby that we would like to see, but that didn't stop Royal. They went on the rampage, 22 points in the first half, and it ended up 41 points to 7. The smaller made Ecbatanians just had absolutely no answer to the far so physically superior Royal pack, and also, of course, with Tuleb Hassan and Janidu Dilshan also in midfield, just running riot there. They were offloading, and you saw the kind of game they played against St. Thomas's was coming back to the fore. So it looked very much like Royal had picked themselves up from that slump against Wesley. It was probably after the Bradby they had gone into a bit of a slump, but that 1 week's rest looked like it had done them good, and they came back and showed exactly why they are the front runners to win this league title with a 41-7 win over Ecbatana and winning the Major Milroy Fernando Trophy there as well. The other two games we had up in Pallakele, a nice dry Pallakele ironically. We had Wesley taking on Trinity in their home den, and we had a bit of a scare for them. Trinity, after realizing that they will be parting ways with coach Lotte Raikambula, Intisham Marika taking over from next season as well. So that news may have sparked them into life in the second half, and they managed to come through after an 8-7 deficit in the first half and win that game 21 points to 11. And we also had another match up in Kandy, Kingswood versus Zahira. Zahira really upset the Kingswood crowd by scoring in the first minute 5 points to 0. It was with barely a minute gone on the clock, but that was pretty much all they could manage for the next 69 minutes as well, because Kingswood came back and managed to put that game to bed. 18 points to 5 was how it finished. Not the best performance by Kingswood, but Zahira defended pretty stoutly in the end of that game as well. 18 points to 5 to the Kingswood team. Looking ahead to the final week of the Singer Schools League 2018, we have two big matches on the cards. We have Royal taking on St. Peter's. Now, this would have been the clash of the unbeaten Titans. It's not, because St. Peter's have been beaten. But Royal, if they lose this game, know that there's an outside chance they could concede the league if St. Joseph's win handsomely against Ecbatana. But that won't probably be the case, because I think Royal have recovered from whatever downer that they had against Wesley, and it looks very much like they mean business again. They put Ecbatana to the sword, and they will be looking to do that once again this time around. Let's not forget though that Sanat Martis coached a lot of this Royal team, so he will know their weaknesses, and that may play on their minds as well. And St. Peter's, having gone down to St. Joseph's, will really need a big performance to put their die-hard supporters in a little bit of a comfortable, satisfactory place. So that's something to look forward to. At the moment, Royal College, we're ahead on the points table with 46 points and St. Peter's on 41 points. At the moment, they picked up that losing bonus point against St. Joseph's. Last year's result was St. Peter's 10, Royal College 17, and that was a home loss to St. Peter's as well. So that's something that they will be looking to try and rectify when they meet these old rivals. It's been a bogey team, let's not forget. St. Peter's have come and upset fancied Royal teams before, so we'll wait and see what happens on the day. But Royal, for the moment, are looking like they are well and truly the favourites to win this league title. The next game, the probable challengers, St. Joseph's, at the moment they're on 42 points, and if they win and win big, they might make it to 48 points, which means that they could win the league if Royal only get one bonus point in a potential loss to St. Peter's. So they will be looking to score tries against Ecbatana, and the way Ecbatana's defense has been this season, I would think that they will be able to score at least those 4 tries that they need to get that bonus point. Last year, they will be looking to avenge the loss to Ecbatana. 39 points to 32 at the CRNFC was Ecbatana's triumph. It was an unlikely triumph, but this is a game that St. Joseph's will be wanting to really put to bed and make sure that they give themselves every chance of trying to win the league. So that's going to be a really entertaining game, but Royal Peters will be the one to watch. Let's look at the points table now, brought to you by courtesy of stats.thepapare.com. All the stats that you need from the schools rugby season, from past and present as well, are available on stats.thepapare.com. The points table looks like this at the moment. There's a bit of daylight between Royal and the second place team. Royal on 46 points and Joseph's on 42, just 1 point ahead of St. Peter's, but that won't matter because St. Joseph's have won that head-to-head battle. So the permutations are such that if Royal lose and don't pick up a bonus point against St. Peter's, St. Joseph's has the opportunity to pick up 6 points in their win against Ecbatana, which will take them to 48 points. So if Royal stay on 46 or only make it to 47, St. Joseph's will be the clear winner. So that's something that we have to keep our eye open for. We have Ecbatana in 4th place, which will be something that they would have expected at the start of the season. I think if you offered them 4th place at the start of the season, they would have taken it. Kingswood College, a very good performance performance from them. 5th at the moment, Trinity College in 6th, Wesley College in 7th, and Zahira in the 8th place on 18 and 11 respectively. Our top try scorer still remains Gamunu Chetia. He hasn't added to his tally over the course of the last couple of weeks, but he still has created enough in the early part of the season to do some damage. So 10 tries he has. Sabit Feroz coming up that leaderboard with 6. We have Dinusha Hemasiri, the DS number 8, also, who's been carrying the ball so strongly this season. He's on 6 tries, and Janita Dilshan also the Royal Flyer with 6 points. So that's the way the story goes in terms of top try scorers, and the top point scorers still Shehan Lianapathirana. And you have to ask, with Lianapathirana in your ranks, you wonder why St. Peter's could have taken a few more of those kicks at goal. Perhaps he was not confident given the way the weather was, but the issue is that they could probably have got more than a couple of penalties if they took them or chose to take those 3 points. Dulan Gunawardana in closing on Lianapathirana with 60 points, and we have Sulakshana Ruberu with 57 points, and Murshid Zubair of Wesley College, who has 2 tries to add to his 9 conversions and 8 penalties with 52 points. So that's the story as far as the top point scorers go, and we'll be looking forward to a league decider in the upcoming week. So just to recap, in addition to St. Peter's taking on Royal, and in addition to St. Joseph's taking on Ecbatana, we also have the Blase Trophy on offer for you, and that match is between Wesley and Kingswood. Kingswood began their resurgence with that game last day. It was a really entertaining affair, very close one as well, and we could expect exactly the same this time as well up in Bogambara. And Trinity take on Zahira at Pallakale. It should be a game that Trinity will try to finish the season off on a high and show their new coach what depth he has on offer for next year. Zahira will be aiming to finish their season on a high as well, so looking to see whether they can rebuild from where they left off last year.